Hey Jen, I've been waiting for this for a very long time because here I have the new Ford Ranger Raptor. And what is this?
Well, we got the new 2025 Tacoma TRD Pro, Andre.
Yes, and they're so similar as far as being, capability on paper, right?
Right. And, before we did take the Ranger Raptor through the ironclads with the TRD Trail Hunter. However, this is more of an apples to apples comparison as they're both kind of geared towards Baja.
Exactly. Toyota markets this TRD Pro as kind of a fast desert runner, and so is this. So how about this? Let's take them on our standard ironclads mountain trail, but I also want to add a little bit of a fast running segment.
Yeah, let's see who wins and if the Tacoma is actually worth the extra money. A little bit.
Is that the side stand?
I don't think I can keep going.
That's the brake over.
I hear it.
Ow.
You want me to see?
No, it's too late.
That was good. Why did you linger like that?
Well, because this is success, right?
Andre, can you give it a massive honk, please?
A huge one?
Big one. Perfect.
Sweet. All right.
Okay.
So first, I really want to do this because the Tacoma has a disconnectable front sway bar, and the Ranger does not, at least in this Ranger Raptor edition. So, like the Bronco has that feature, but not the Ranger. All right, Jen, so this is what I call the diagonal ditch crossing.
Okay, here we are.
So this should demonstrate, at least compare, two trucks to each other, kind of the articulation and also the traction.
Yeah, true. Let's see.
You see this? And actually, do you want to get out and kind of see how high my rear tire is?
Let's see where we're
in
at here. Ooh, that's a drop. Okay, rear tire is like 10 inches right now.
Okay, let me try to make progress. Oh, I need lockers.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have front and rear lockers on the Ranger.
All right, let me select them. Okay. No problem with locking differentials. Bam. All right, so I'm approaching the same obstacle. This is the ditch crossing. And you lined me up, right?
I did. Let me jump out so I can see how much articulation we're getting on that left rear.
Okay, because I just disconnected my stabilizer bar.
Okay.
So I should have a little bit more flex.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, so my rear locker is still not enabled, just like what I did in the Ranger. There, I think I'm in the air.
All right, got about 5 inches.
Okay, let me go forward. I'm gonna use the rear locker.
Okay. I see stuck on a rock right in the front. But this is certainly less articulation, or at least more articulation and less clearance than the Ranger. All right, you're at about 8 inches. Probably actually 10 inches.
So do you think it's similar to what the Ranger was doing? Kind of?
I think it's pretty close, depending on where you measure it from.
Okay. Well, this is not really scientific. It's just kind of mostly, we're looking with our eyes.
Can you just go back and forth like that? I think that looks pretty funny.
When you're talking about off-road trucks, ground clearance and approach angles and departure angles are super important. And here you see these two side by side. On the Ranger Raptor, this has, according to Ford, 33 degrees of approach. On a Tacoma TRD Pro, this has, according to Toyota, 33.8 degrees of approach. So this is better than this, but actually visually speaking, this looks to have a lot more ground clearance and approach, which is great. And also skid plates Both of them have it.
So it's not exactly apples to apples when it comes to comparing wheels and tires on the Tacoma and the Ranger. On the Tacoma, we have Goodyear Wrangler Territory RTs with 265/70/18, so an 18-inch wheel. But coming over to the Ranger, we are working with the BFG all-terrain TAKO3s and 285/70/17s. So not only is it a smaller wheel with 17-inch, but it's a 285. It's nearly about 0.8 inches wider than on the Tacoma. The Tacoma may have larger wheels, the 18s, where I feel it's kind of a downfall compared to the Ranger. However, these spokes are a little inverse. They don't have a profile that sticks out a little bit, whereas these smaller 17s on the Ranger do stick out a little bit, as you can tell, and this is the reason why you may not want that type of design. But there is an optional beadlock wheel that you can get, so you don't have to get these 17s with the spokes that stick out a little bit too much.
Hey Jen, check this out. We met some friends here on the trail and they have a snorkel on their Chevy. Do you see that?
That's probably the most innovative snorkels I have ever seen.
Very cool truck. Yeah.
Custom, including my warranty, but it is somewhere basically now.
He said this voided his warranty. But you guys use your truck because you have a little bit of a bump here on the front.
I hit a squirrel on one of the trails.
He said it's a squirrel. It was a squirrel. No, I don't.
Hefty squirrel.
That's a hefty one. Cool. Very awesome. All right, thanks.
All right, so that was pretty similar.
It was similar, but I think why I like the Tacoma a little bit better for an obstacle like that is because the wheelbase is a little bit longer. The truck has more of a chance to kind of flex a little bit more.
Right.
And the whole key is to keep your tires on the ground as much as possible.
Right, and that's where that articulation in that sway bar is going to help.
Exactly. And it's also a competition between the tires.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, these are skinnier and have less sidewall than the tires that are on the Ranger with those 285/70s, and these are 265/70s.
Exactly. And I'm using rock crawl mode in both trucks, just, not crawl control,
Right.
but the traction mode. And so I'm trying to maintain the same modes in both vehicles.
Yeah, apples to apples, like we said.
All right, I think I need my cameras. So let me...
We got a camera here.
Oh, there. Ah, this is better.
Lots of cameras.
By the way, this horizontal screen is actually, I think, more useful.
I think so too.
It's higher in my view.
Yeah, your eyes aren't going lower.
So it's interesting what's happening underneath the hood of each of these trucks, right? Because Tacomas have had V6s for ages, many generations.
Long time, but that changes now.
Exactly. With this fourth generation, as of last year, they switched, completely got rid of V6s, and this is a 2.4-liter straight four turbo, but it's also a hybrid.
That's true. It's got 326 horsepower with 465 pound-feet of torque.
Pretty beefy, also has an 8-speed automatic transmission, and a pretty good, in the city at least, efficiency, right? That's what hybrids do pretty well.
Right, that's what they're known for.
Yeah, but Toyota truck hybrids are not Priuses, right?
No.
Ford is sticking with V6.
Yeah,
So-
but it's a twin turbo.
Exactly, which is really cool, I think. So they do have also a 4-cylinder turbo. They have a 2.7-liter V6, but this is a 3-liter V6 EcoBoost twin turbo, like you said, and it's pretty beefy.
Yeah, 405 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque.
Yes, and then a few months back, we also got a Ford Performance Tune for this truck, and we've done some videos with it, drag racing, doing some other efficiency testing. Now this has 455 horsepower and 536.
Oh, so it's beefed up a little bit.
It's beefed up a little bit, but that's not going to help us today, right?
No.
Necessarily, because we're crawling over rocks and we're doing a little bit of fast off-road running as well.
Yeah.
Now, the next obstacle is the steps, and really this is about, well, first of all, tires and traction.
Of course.
And also approach angle.
Of course, and this has slightly less approach angle than the Tacoma at 33 degrees, but it's not by much.
Right, and right now, I am not using my locking differentials. Let me see if I can actually climb this without needing it just now. Those are my parking sensors.
Calm down sensors.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so here's where we're hitting a little bit of an issue.
Okay, so rear locker enabled. Use all the tools available.
I mean, it's
right?
so easy to engage too.
Okay, and it's kind of immediate.
Right.
Right there, it shows us.
God, if that doesn't show how important locking diffs are, I don't know what
will.
does.
Exactly. All right, so this is the Razor Rock, and the snow has melted, and it's deep. Oh my goodness, do you see that?
Wow, wow, wow.
So this may be another important test of everything. I mean, approach, departure, everything.
Everything.
Do you want to? Can
Let
you
me
go out
let me
there and
spot you.
spot me?
Let me spot you.
By the way, we did not air down for this run because we need, or at least the Ranger Raptor needs, every millimeter of ground clearance. So. How's my bumper looking?
Bumper looks good so far. You're gonna start to climb the wall on the passenger.
Okay.
There you go. Straight forward, looking good. Keep coming, looking good. Got about 18 inches of, yeah, keep going.
All right. So it seems like I have enough approach angle. I have good traction, and my locking differentials are really helping. And also gearing is very
Keep
helpful.
going, looking good. Clearing everything.
Okay. What about my belly? Yes?
Belly's looking good.
Okay. Hey.
Nice.
That was pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Okay. Wow. Usually it's a lot more, dramatic. Jen, did you know that Toyota put Morse code
Get out
into
of
their
town.
windshield?
No, do you know what it stands for?
Yeah, I do. I've decoded it. Actually, my wife helped me out because this was quite difficult. It says Toyota trucks, but if you decode Morse code, it says badass trucks.
Stop it.
Yes.
That's actually pretty badass.
Okay, couple more things. In the bed, first of all, there's a lot going on here.
We have some goodies.
We have some goodies.
Yes.
And because this is a hybrid, and TRD Pro only comes as a hybrid, right? You can't get a non-hybrid version.
Nope, that's it.
It's also pretty fancy. So it does fancy things like this.
Automatic liftgate.
It does fancy things like this.
Now that is posh.
Because you can't be bothered to close your own tailgate,
especially
right?
when you're off-roading.
Okay, but also, I mean, these two trucks basically have the same size beds, but check this out. 2400 watt outlet right here in the bed.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
And then we also have another cubby over here
Okay.
that's got a few more different outlets for USB-C or 12 volt, and then you can even stick your phone in it or something in there too, which is pretty nice. And then another covered little cubby over there for gloves or your diary you keep when you off-road. I know
diary?
I know a lot of men are doing that. So
Yes. No, I don't have a diary, but also that could get wet, like if you're in the rain or something.
yeah, so probably best to keep electronics out of there.
And your diaries also.
And your diary, yeah.
Also, this bed is composite. And it's kind of been bedlined because composite beds are usually very slick, but this has good grip.
Yeah, it's got some grit on there.
And really good tie down points all the way around. So if you're bouncing off road and you have a lot of gear back here, you could tie everything down.
Yeah. Overall, pretty pleased with it.
But what about the seats?
That's a lot going on.
Whoa, these seats look like it's like a robot that's behind your back.
It's insane. So these are the isodynamic seats, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to work a little bit like a hammock. If you can imagine a hammock with the upper pivot here in the very top of the seat and the lower pivot kind of in the bottom cushion. And then you can adjust air pressure in these shocks.
I feel like it kind of takes away from legroom though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Mary was sitting there. I mean, she pushed it back all the way.
There ain't no way you're fitting legs through there.
No. Well, can you actually fit in here?
Well, I think, so I left the seat where I would have it, 5'7" for reference, and I can make this work, but better not push it back anymore.
I don't know if I can make this work. Let me try.
Let's see.
So if I was sitting behind you on this trail run, this is
you wouldn't have
tight.
knees anymore.
Well, Well, my knees are kind of in this plastic, and my head is actually kind of hitting this top.
Yeah, you would have a very rough time.
But they're supposed to be helpful. That's why we need to run that fast section.
Yeah.
Right, and see exactly how these seats behave.
Yeah, I want to see how much of an improvement it makes.
All right, so the back seat passengers are maybe uncomfortable for some of us.
Yeah, more of an afterthought for backseat passengers.
Okay, but what about the front?
Yeah, these are pretty beefy bolsters. I do like the camo inserts on the middle, and they are power seats, but it is a manual recline.
That must be the side effect of the isodynamic seat,
Yeah, it
probably.
must be, yeah.
Just the design of it, but you could still push it forward and back, right?
And you have lumbar support.
Jen, it has a Toyota chime, not a Ford chime.
Oh, so much better.
So Toyota now has this multifunctional switch here in the center console. So I can put it in neutral like I've just done. I can twist it over from 4 high to 4 low. And because we're level here, it should work really, really quickly, and it did. Now I'm showing 4 low. I have my traction control disabled. So now I can use multi-terrain select modes and crawl control, and also select the rear locker. So all of that is available to me, including the front stabilizer bar disconnect. The TRD Pro also has this front stabilizer bar disconnect, which should allow this to articulate a little bit better, maintaining all 4 tires as much as possible on the ground. So this is the steps. So let's see, this should have no issue with the clearance.
Yeah, this is nearly an inch higher ground clearance than the
Yeah.
Ranger.
And by the way, we're using manufacturer specs. We
Yeah.
didn't use rulers or
Nope.
anything like that.
Nope, did not break out the Stanley tape measure today.
Whoa, did you see this? It kind of went over this
Oh.
without the rear locker.
Oh yeah, because you don't have that engaged yet.
It just used the traction control system really quickly.
Okay, Toyota.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's trying. It's working quite well. But
want-
this is the big test.
Yeah, you want some guidance on this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you put me once again in the same path?
I'm gonna try to do the same thing.
Yeah, the same path. And this is gonna be a little bit hairy. I'm gonna select my rear locker and use all my tools.
Okay. Here I go.
My rear locker is still not engaging.
Oh, okay.
There, it's there. So I just had to back up a little bit for the rear locking differential to engage. I could see it now on my screen. It's enabled. I'm gonna use my cameras, and Jen is spotting me. She wants me to go passenger.
Passenger.
Did I hit something?
Go passenger. There you go. There you go. Crawl on up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Keep it coming, passenger.
Once again, I
Yeah.
can use a very slow speed. And actually stopping on an obstacle like this is a difficult thing for the vehicle.
Nice.
Is because you're
Keep going
removing
straight.
all momentum. Is it
Getting
clearing?
close on the belly, but you're clearing up. Oh, all right.
Just cleared it?
Yeah, just a kiss.
All right, so, the traction was very similar, I felt like, and I was able to maintain low speed.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think it did actually quite well.
You know what happened? My seatbelt got locked.
Oh,
So I can't
just choking yourself.
move.
Andre, what do we got in the bed?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, first of all, this tailgate is a little bit simpler, right? So it doesn't have the fancy electronic features, right? Which is okay. I mean, it has a little bit of a dampening here. We do have an outlet, 12 volt, and also this one, but this is only 400 watts.
Yeah, I mean, we do at least have power, but yes, it is less power. But as far as the powered liftgate that the Tacoma has, this is, to me, in my mind, just less parts to break.
Yeah, I agree. But also, the Tacoma had that rail system, where you could tie down stuff everywhere. This also has a few tie downs, but fewer than the Tacoma.
Yeah, what we got in the back here?
Well, this is a Raptor, so we have special stitching. It's
yeah.
got orange. So let me try to get in. I'm kind of sitting behind myself here. So once again, my knees are in kind of tight, but this is a soft area.
Yeah, you're not going to get kneecapped.
But look, I have a tiny bit of headroom.
You actually fit in here a little bit more.
Do you want to try this?
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, this is comfortable. And I do like these seats a lot. There's a lot of support, but they're still pretty soft.
We got to try the front too.
Okay, so these still feel very bolstery too.
Yeah.
And I like that they have the suede inserts on the inside too.
That's cool. But it's not a hammock. I mean, are you okay with that?
I think I will survive.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Jen, we got a Ford ding. So the Ford interior is designed a little bit differently. First of all, there's a vertical screen rather than a horizontal large screen. And the control for most of the modes, once again, here on the center console, but just laid out a little bit differently. So here, if I can put this into neutral, I'm not in love with this shifter, by the way. Sometimes it's just too easy to move and it goes to park when I want it to go to reverse. But I can hit 4 low. We are level right now. So it should actually, there, it's engaged. And then my drive modes are here. So I can use this button. And I can actually select both rear and front lockers. The Tacoma TRD Pro does not have a front locking differential, but I do not have a sway bar disconnect in this truck. Let's crawl over Sawtooth and actually see the breakover angle.
Okay.
Let's see, I might actually touch the side step because these side steps are out there.
They protrude quite a bit.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh, I hear it.
that's the breakover angle.
I hear it. This has a slightly, ooh.
Ow.
Do you want me to see?
No, it's too late.
Is it better not to look?
It's like tearing off a Band-Aid, you know?
You know, this has a slightly better breakover angle than the Tacoma.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm curious to see how the Tacoma does over that.
You know, this must have to do with the wheelbase because the Tacoma's wheelbase is a little bit longer,
Okay.
but it does have more ground clearance per se.
Yeah.
So that has to be the wheelbase.
It's going to be interesting.
Okay, well, let's see what happens on the Sawtooth now.
Yeah, that's a pretty gnarly angle.
Yeah, I wonder where. Maybe you should spot me on this one.
Okay.
Just kind of, let's pick a line and see where I can crest it. Okay, approaching Sawtooth, basically it's another test of breakover angle.
Getting close. About 4 inches.
Okay.
Oh, you're about 2 inches away. Ooh,
Yeah?
you're getting by.
Barely.
Yeah.
Do you want to use like a little rock and mark where my tires were?
Yeah. Let's see.
So we can do the same, we can do the same in the Tacoma.
I like that.
Like on the point maybe somewhere?
This guy?
Like where my side step is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So am I clearing it?
So far, it looks like you're going to go. Oh, no, there it is.
Oh,
I mean, it's.
I don't think I can keep going.
Yeah, that's.
Let me take a slightly less aggressive line.
Okay. Because it gets real dramatic very quickly.
Yeah.
So, oh, close. You're gonna probably scrape, but it's less. But it's the belly.
Am I making it?
It's this. It's not the side step. It's the
Skid
belly.
plate?
It's the div. Yeah.
All right, can you
You're-
move the rock
You're over it now.
so we can measure the Tacoma in the same way?
Okay.
Okay.
Andre, I noticed we have 3 shark fins up here.
We do, but why am I poking through the sunroof? We also, yes, you're correct. We do have 3 shark fins. So this is a pretty sophisticated optional feature.
Yeah.
So these side shark fins are actually for like a wireless camera system where you could put a camera in your trailer or behind your trailer.
Okay.
And kind of connect to the truck's
That's
system
pretty
for
neat.
towing. And because you need that in real time, they put all these antennas. And I think the other antenna is for like satellite radio, navigation, that type of stuff.
Your normal fin. Interesting. So this thing will do really well swimming.
Yes.
Okay, so there's our rock.
Okay, well let me let me go around and then we can approach the Sawtooth again.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to be as cautious as possible because like you said, you looked at the specs and we have less angle here.
Less breakover angle, but more ground clearance.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if that's going to even it out or not.
Exactly. But you know, we have these rock sliders on the side.
That is going to help us a lot.
Yeah.
So far.
First it's protection, right?
Let's see.
Okay. That was okay. You see, I knew it. Those steps on the Ranger Raptor.
Awful. And you don't
Yeah.
even need them. It's not that big of a truck.
No.
You can jump
like
in.
if that was a Super Duty Tremor, you need the ladder to get into it.
Yeah.
But in the Ranger Raptor, no.
It's not needed.
We're approaching back to Sawtooth, so I may need your help to kind of line up against the rock a little bit here, so we're traversing it in the same way.
Okay. Alrighty. Little passenger, come straight. Perfect.
Okay. You know what? I could see that rock in my camera.
Oh, that's true. You do have side cameras.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Slow and steady. This is where it gets pretty dramatic quickly.
Okay.
So far, so good. About 2 inches. Keep going.
Ooh.
A little bit on the right side.
Can you see if it's the frame or what's going on?
Stay there. Don't run me over.
Okay, I won't.
It's the frame. I feel like if you go forward, you're gonna start clearing it. Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
You know what? I think I heard less scraping on this one.
Way less scraping.
Yeah, that was nice.
Nice.
But we're not out of the woods yet because we gotta descend
Driver.
and this could be challenging.
Slow. Little bit.
Oh. Is that the side step?
Yeah, it's a side step.
Ah. Jeez.
All right, you're clear.
You know, I just want to remove these side steps.
I know, it's not really helping. It's not like it's a huge truck.
All right. I just need to go slowly through this section.
Ooh.
Ouch. There was another side step.
Ooh.
Remember,
Is that a slide or a scrape?
but I really hit bad in the Ranger, right? But I missed it in this one.
You did miss it in this. Oh, it was a slide. Okay.
Do I think I touched it?
No, I don't think you touched it.
Okay. This is good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Ranger, our 2024 Ranger Raptor is in hot pepper.
Hot pepper, and I
Yeah,
love that
and I believe
color.
they discontinued that color, the
They
hot
did,
pepper
so
color.
it's kind of a rare
So
color
it's a
now.
rare color, and it brings the value of our Ranger way up.
Very true.
At least we hope so. Yeah.
Ranger didn't scrape on these, did it?
Oh, I think just once.
Once?
Yeah. And this one is not doing it. Well, wait. Let's not speak.
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta get through it.
Let's not speak too soon.
It's so far.
Yeah, it must be those steps. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, the steps definitely didn't help, but this does have higher ground clearance.
Yeah,
so
that's also helpful.
I think that, you know, there's a couple things going for it.
That's good. You know what now is?
What's now?
Fast driving time.
Sign me up. For suspension on the Tacoma, we have the Fox QS3 shocks.
Yeah, so pretty fancy. And if you look at the A-arms up top, you know, it's done very nicely, you know, billet. But these trucks are adjustable, but you have to do it manually by reaching down.
That's true.
So thank goodness this is dry right now, not really muddy. But you can reach down and actually flip the switch from kind of a more stiffer setting to a little bit more compliant.
With the Ranger, we have Fox Live valve shocks.
Yeah, they're electronically adjustable, so all you have to do is push a little button, boop.
A little bit nicer.
So we don't usually do this much.
No, not too often.
Like actually comparing two different vehicles on a fast off-road section, because it's usually about crawling.
Right.
But I want to try this anyway. So I'm going to go to 4 high.
Okay.
We also have 4-wheel drive automatic, by the way.
Okay.
Which helps in daily driving. Tacoma does not.
Oh.
So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
But also I have Baja mode. So Baja mode changes a few things. It changes the exhaust system, how it sounds. It changes the shocks.
The suspension.
Yeah.
I would say mainly.
The transmission, you know, shift points. So it changes a lot of different things. It says off-road use only, which is we are. Ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
This is going to be a little bouncy.
That's fine.
Okay. You know what? And this is what differentiates a Raptor from, you know, other Rangers and other trucks. And I think differentiates the TRD Pro from other trucks too.
God, that really stayed planted.
Oh, you know what?
A lot of those I thought we were going to get some air, but it just, that suspension travel was fantastic.
Yeah, and also both of these are not lightweight vehicles either.
No.
We checked out the payloads. So the Ranger Raptor has a little bit more payload by about 150 pounds.
Okay.
But the Ranger is actually only about 50 pounds lighter than the TRD Pro.
That's right. They were both about, what, 5,400 pounds or so?
Exactly. Which is kind of chunky for a mid-sized truck.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about all the components that these trucks have on them, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, skid plates, you know, low-range transfer cases.
Right.
You know, a lot of different gear. But I think the main point of the suspension is that it can take this punishment,
yes.
right? And like you said, suspension travel. You cannot. I don't recommend doing this in your Civic.
No.
Please don't.
I would lose a bumper if I did this in my 335.
Or you lose more than a bumper.
I would lose more than a bumper, to be honest.
All right, so that felt
pretty painless.
Like we never felt like jarring, like hits coming through.
No, not at all.
Let's see how the Tacoma does.
All right.
So yeah, here we don't have 4-wheel drive automatic.
No, it's just low, high, or 2.
And that's just kind of how Toyota does things. It's the same for the Tundra, right? It's the same for the Tacoma. And we are in 4-wheel drive high like we were in the Ranger.
Okay. I saw sand in there.
I think we need sand.
I think we need sand.
But it's not called Baja.
No.
But sand is sand.
Sand is sand.
Yeah.
And Baja is a lot of sand.
All right, let's see what it does. And these QS3 shocks, right?
Let's see. Oh, a little more bumpy. I feel like we got some air on that second one.
Maybe a little air, and we're going about 30 miles an hour. We demonstrated how, you know, to twist the knob, the adjustments, but that's really not ideal because what if there was muddy or snowy or icy? You want to change that, right?
Yeah, what if you want to change it real quickly? Now you do have to actually get out and
do all 4 corners.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it kind of depends on the setting, right? So if you got it wrong, if you twisted it the wrong way, you may have to redo it.
Right.
So I think I like the Ranger system better for that reason.
You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, in the Ranger. All right, so let me
get around.
I'm afraid of that route, you know?
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't want to rip out the transmission just quite yet. What do you think about these seats?
The seats are actually pretty comfortable, and I feel like they are absorbing a lot of the impact for us, but I can still feel the truck itself, its own suspension, maybe a little less than the Raptor.
And it could be because, like, I haven't set up, I haven't twisted all the knobs in the right way.
Which also
You know what I'm
is kind
saying?
of a setback,
Yeah.
because if you don't get them specifically at
For
the
the
same point.
for the firmest setting or maybe the softest, because when you're doing, like, getting a little bit of air, you want the stiffest suspension because you want it to take the hit, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and if you configured it incorrectly, it may be just different. But now we have to come up with the verdict.
So after everything we've done,
We did a lot.
we did a lot. What do you think?
So the base price on the Ranger Raptor, and it doesn't have a lot of options actually,
Okay.
is $57,500, including destination. Okay, but what's the sticker price on this guy?
67,000.
So there's almost 10,000 pounds.
Well, in Britain,
This is not
yeah,
in Great Britain.
but dollars.
There's almost $10,000 difference. What do you think?
Okay, so here's the thing. This scraped less,
Yes.
and I think it's because, it definitely helps that this has a higher ground clearance,
Yeah.
but it does have a higher approach angle.
That's good.
But this definitely felt better going through the high speed run.
Yeah.
I thought that felt a little more refined, even though this has, super fancy hammock seats.
Hammock seats.
I still think that the Ranger felt a little bit better on the high speed run. I don't know. This does have a few extra things, like it's got a sunroof and it has a few extra goodies in the bed and everything like that. But
Yeah.
10 grand, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's hard to swallow, like, after comparing these trucks like this. So I would say this. I think, 57,000 is already a lot of money.
It
But I
is.
think for the hardware you're getting, it's including that horsepower, I think the Ranger is a good value.
Yeah.
I have a hard time justifying the 10 grand for this, specifically because if you gave me 10 grand to upgrade this Ranger, maybe do a leveling kit, put bigger tires on it,
Yeah.
lights, winches, that's a lot of money to play with.
It is a lot of money.
So I think on value, it has to be Ranger. So I will pick Ranger on this one.
Yeah, I think
we agree.
I think I may have to agree with you on that one.
Let us know what you think in the comments below about these two, and we'll see you in the next video at alltfl.com.